Well, thank you. In our business, we survey about 1 billion square feet of office space each year. So I'm going to throw you a lot of information, a whole lot of information about that in the next 5 minutes. So don't remember everything. But to help you sort of hang that and arrange it in your minds, we're going to go through colors. We're going to go through red, yellow, green, and blue. Green's not really a primary color, but we're going to fudge that a little bit. So first, red. What's the connotation of red? Well, you think, stop. This is really important. I need to pay attention to this, and it may not be very good news. So what makes tenants see red? Well, we're going to go through 3 things. One is if you fail to respond to them, okay? Tenants that get a fast response, about 2/3, almost 2/3 of them say they'll renew their lease. Tenants that get a slow response, more than a day, it's less than half. You're going to see a pattern emerge here. Second thing, other than responsiveness, is being proactive, reaching out informally, proactively. Again, if you do that with appropriate frequency, about 2/3, 65%, say they'll renew their lease. About half say they'll renew if you don't do that with appropriate frequency. Third thing, fix things right the first time they break. If you do that, lo and behold, about 2/3, 64% say they'll renew. If you don't, less than half say they'll renew their lease. 3 things that are hopefully easy to remember as you go forward. So yellow is our next color. Not as bad as red, right? But I still need to pay attention to this. And I need to proceed with caution because things are uncertain. But I want to suggest maybe cautious optimism is more the order of the day, and I'll tell you why. This slide is something that Henry shared earlier this morning, that tenants are now anticipating needing more space in the future than they were a couple years ago. So, 3% increase across 1 billion square feet is a pretty big deal. So that's optimistic. Well, here's the cautious part. They anticipate a little more space, but not necessarily more head count. So kind of mixed signals from the tenants. A little bit of outside perspective on this. Another reason for optimism, actually, is that institutional investors, for each of the last 3 years and projecting for this year, it's a total of over $100 billion in new capital that they're committing to real estate. So that should certainly help values and help the industry at large. And combined with tenants' optimism, then things should go pretty well. So let's talk about green now. Green is, full steam ahead. Things are good. Let's go. It also means environmental sustainability, and of course it means money. It means value. So let's address those in turn. Well, the good news is tenants are now happier. They're more satisfied than they have been at any point in the last 3 years, really since the crash of Lehman in 2008. More of them are saying their satisfaction is good or excellent. Well, why is that? Well, it's because managers, you guys have been serving them better. You haven't been making them see red. You've been communicating them with appropriate frequency, 4% more than you did a couple years ago. So that's good. Now, tenant attitudes toward environmental sustainability have been kind of all over the place. They actually maintained and even went a little bit up after the crash. And then they started tanking. And only in this last quarter have their ratings of the importance of green started kind of inching back up again. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. Now, what has gone up is their perception of value. They're more than ever, really. Over 2/3 now are saying they're getting good or excellent value. The question for owners is, are we capitalizing on that value, or are the tenants just kind of getting a free ride? So blue, serenity, peace. Honesty. Every presidential candidate wears a blue tie, right? But let's think in terms of honesty and then loyalty. What are you doing to build loyalty among your tenant base? Well, the good news is they are increasingly loyal. One measure of that is they're more likely to recommend their building. Almost, 86, 90% of them now are saying, yeah, I'd recommend this building. Another measure is, more directly their renewal intent. Would you renew your lease if you had to renew it today? And you can see how uncertainty in the marketplace caused that to tank in late 2008. But then it started recovering, and now again it's high as it's ever been. So again, our owners and managers capturing value from that increased loyalty. So quick review here. Red. Don't make your tenants see red. Give them appropriate service. Be cautious, but be optimistic. And focus on building relationships that will lead to long-term loyalty. All right, hope you've enjoyed kind of going through the little color square with us, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.